Hey, what's going on? Welcome to Engage. It's Wednesday, April 15th, and I'm so glad to be with you today. Hey, so a couple quick things for you. I was thinking about this phrase the other day, and as the weather hopefully is going to start turning here soon, we've seen a couple of warm days, but cold keeps holding on. I was thinking about one of my favorite summer treats, lemonade. A nice glass of lemonade. The sweetness, the tartness, everything in it it screams summer. It screams warmth. It screams fun and excitement outside. And so I was thinking about that phrase, when life gives you lemons, make lemonade. What an interesting phrase, because lemons are a pretty common thing, right? People know what a lemon is by looking at it. But how many people eat a lemon like they would eat an apple? Not very many. Certainly some probably would, but the tartness for me and sourness would be overpowering, and I couldn't bite into a lemon by itself. But when you mix it with the sugar and you make the drink, it's something delicious and something that you look forward to having. And so that phrase, when life gives you lemons, make lemonade, is all about taking whatever you have and making the most of your opportunity. Using whatever to make the most out of it. And in times of difficulty, in times of hardship, that's an important thing for us to remember. And I'm reminded of something else that we see in Scripture. In moments of difficulty and hard times, there's something that the Scriptures refer to as lament. Lament is not just a biblical term, but we don't use it very often. Lament is different than despair. Despair is a hopelessness. There is no hope, there is no light, there is no opportunity for things to get better. But lament is grief, is pain, is suffering, and it's crying out to God to be the restorer and the redeemer in the midst of the lament. In fact, lament is so important for Christians and for the Jewish people that there was a whole book in the Old Testament just about lament. Lamentations. You don't hear that book quoted very often because it's got a lot of depressing stuff in it. Let's check out Lamentations chapter 3, and let me just read a few verses for you. And I'm just going to pick them out of context, but just to kind of get at the point here for you. Verse 4 of chapter 3, He has made my skin and my flesh grow old and has broken my bones. That doesn't sound good. He has walled me in so I cannot escape. Verse 7, He has weighed me down with chains. Verse 10, like a bear lying in wait, like a lion in hiding, he dragged me from the path and mangled me and left me without help. None of this sounds very good, does it? Verse 15, he has filled me with bitter herbs and given me gall to drink. If you know what gall is to drink, it's not something you want to be drinking. Verse 16, he has broken my teeth with gravel. He has trampled me in the dust. So here's where it kind of changes a little bit. Verse 22 says, because of the Lord's great love, we are not consumed, for his compassions never fail. They are new every morning. Great is your faithfulness. I say to myself, the Lord is my portion. Therefore, I will wait for him. You might be dealing with a lot of adversity right now, and a lot of difficulty, and life might not be the way that you wish it was. You might be feeling abandoned. You might be feeling grief for the things that you're missing out on. The things that you had planned over the last 4 weeks and maybe in the coming weeks that you don't know if they're going to happen now. You might have grief or sorrow or pain. Scripture says that all of that can come when we lament to God. When we tell God of the pain and the suffering that we're dealing with, and that God's compassion is good enough for us. That it will sustain us. That God's love is enough. That God's grace is enough. That God's mercy is enough. Feeling sorrowful and grief isn't a sign of sin. No, it's when turned to God and when given to God, it's a sign of faith. Because despair is hopelessness, but lament is only my hope can be found in God. There's no hope anywhere else except in God. So my challenge for you this week is to take all that stuff that you're dealing with, all that pain, all that suffering, all that anguish, and cry out to God. That He be the one that gives you hope. That He be the one that restores your sense of wonder and excitement for the things to come. And that you thank Him for His love that has sustained you this far. And it will continue into the future. Grace and peace to you.